Nkosi yenyaniso zonke inhlanga zalomhlaba mazizuze usizo amadolo kwelilizwe makakobe phambikwakho sithe sithi zonyilwimi ziluxele udumo
Sikulela ukusigcina kwakho ubusuku angephezulu kude sesofika exesha sithi abasihlangene apha sizintlanga ngeentlanga sizobonisa intlungu yethu malusi olungileyo. Xa kuzawuqalwa lo msebenzi siyakumema sithi bakhona phakathi kwethu usincedise ekuphindeni kuba ukusuka kwiminyaka eyi-40 lide elo xesha Thixo Malusi. Sithi ngena nathi ke Malusi uhlale kunye nathi apha siqinise ingqondo siphume sinezinto esizibambileyo ingakumbi abantu abatsha abantwana besikolo Thixo Malusi olungileyo bayazi i-history yabo. Namhlanje siyayivuyela le mini yanamhlanje sithi siyabulela kuwe neli thuba nabo baqinileyo into yokubana mabawenze lo msebenzi siyabulela ngegama lakho Yesu Kristu Nkosi yethu. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. We came here because we don't want to forget where we come from, lest we forget. It is said that if you don't know where you come from, you won't know where you are going. We may be opening wounds, but doctors normally say the deepest cut heals the fastest. If you cut deep, the blood comes out and it just cuts through the sepsis and then you get the healing. As it were, the healing has not and has never happened. That's why we're here today. We've got the two families here, the Madaka family and the Mtimkulu family. Both traumatized, still hurting, still seeking answers, still wanting to know what happened. Their parents have subsequently passed on without knowing what happened. Kwenzeka ntoni? Umthumkhulu, specifically yena, he would have been 62 years now, born on the 23rd of March, 1960. He would have been 62 years. Judy, can I call that middle age or old age? Is it middle age? Other people call it old age because it gives them access to pension, to SASSA. They call it old age. Okay, let's park it there. Our program is a detailed program. It's got more or less all the ingredients of a journey of 1,000 miles, starting from when it happened and up to the last day, and then going forward. Like the Chinese say, a journey of 1,000 miles start with the first step. It's the first step towards healing and also finding answers. Don't be easy, because it was never easy in their time. It was never easy in our time. But the children want to know why we're not writing stories about, factual stories about what happened then. Why do you fear? You are in government. Why these stories are hidden? Who's going to benefit out of that? Why must we learn about these things late? But now, let me commend the people who have initiated this gathering here so that we can talk about it and unpack what happened. Please allow the journey to happen. We'll have people here who will speak about it, and then we'll have a debate about it, and then most probably we'll find the right direction towards closure. I was here covering the TRC, appalling stories, painful stories. I cover the TRC every day, listening to all those atrocities, and I saying to myself, I'm astounded. So it was so incomprehensible to bear the thought of what happened to our brothers and sisters in the name of defending the state at the expense of human beings, unarmed human beings. I was here. So this story you're going to hear is a story that was related and talked about. Mine is not to yap a lot. It's just for me to facilitate today's program. And I won't bore you with a lot of things. I see there are some veterans there who are seated. Some already, they're yawning, they're about to sleep. They're just taking their tablets after having porridge. Good morning, gentlemen. To welcome you, though, I'll call upon Osiswetu, who's representing Umadaga and Timkulu family, the ANC, Baba Lalubisha. Let's welcome her. Give a big round of applause.
Amanda, elilizwe lelokoko bethu, elilizwe labantu abamnyama, elilizwe lokoko bethu, elilizwe labantu abamnyama, elilizwe phuma mdlembe, elilizwe labantu abamnyama, elilizwe phuma mdlembe, elilizwe labantu abamnyama, elilizwe lokhokho bethu, elilizwe labantu abamnyama, elilizwe lokhokho bethu, elilizwe labantu abamnyama, elilizwe phuma mdlembe, elilizwe labantu abamnyama. Amandla awethu kutheni ngathi aninamandla ngomvulo. Amandla viva ANC, viva viva SACP, viva viva COSATU, viva amandla amandla. Program director, I've been tasked a very huge task to welcome everyone that is here on a very sad day in history. which we are supposed to go back to 1982 and relate what happened. For me, I think it's a difficult one in the sense that one is supposed to be able to chant a way forward for the program, because the person who opens the program might make or break the event. So le ambush ke nifake kuyo ndizawithatha kodwa ke I hope this is going to be a very successful day for all of us, because it serves as a map going forward, which will lead us to a road of reconciliation. Yes, reconciliation, Truth and Reconciliation Commission was made, but it has not completed its task. There are many political casualties that have been left with half of the information of what happened to their loved ones. And also some of them still do not have families, some of them are still nursing the wounds. But we are expected to move forward as if nothing has happened. All of us must go forward and build a new country without closing those wounds. And it remains our political responsibility that we shape the future of the country. And today marks that responsibility of shaping the future. Because if we are not going to be able to open the wound, clean it, and then close it as we are moving forward. But I must also say here and now that the Nelson Mandela region has been the nerve of politics in the country. And being the nerve of politics in the country, it has produced many leaders. But having that rich history, there were many casualties along the way. Hence, you see so many people living in the lines of poverty because the process of reconciliation has not been attended to. And some of them have not programmed their minds to go back to a new system of living, that of owning up the current discourse in the political space. So I think having that history and starting this process is going to heal us as the region. We are going to find ourselves more united than ever, and we are going to be able to support all the families that have been casualties along the way. Comrade Umtimkulu and Madaka were COSAS members. The responsibility of a young person is only to learn and be able to be a beacon of hope for the future. But theirs was a huge responsibility of fighting for the country. And we must continue to applaud their efforts and activism at a very young age that has shaped the future of this country. But I will be failing if I can't say it here and now to these masses that are here, that one of the limitations of ANC members is not to protect the gains of the liberation. We might have not concluded the process of reconciliation. We might have had many casualties along the way, but there are positive gains where we have human rights, we have full political rights, and nationhood is being built, but we are not protecting those gains. And those gains are happening under the government of the people, by the will of the people. So that is a huge limitation which might bear us from arriving in a desired future, which is enshrined within our constitution as the African National Congress. Seated here, we must know that we have a responsibility of protecting the gains of the liberation movement. And I have made a mistake of not acknowledging Amakawe to that have organized with the African National Congress this event. Our PEC member, Mama Udunjwa, the family, Bishop and Oliver family that has kept Uspiwo Mtimkulu during the hard times, and all other dignitaries that are amongst us in the Romeo Veterans League and the families. I acknowledge your presence and hope that this is a start of our healing process as the African National Congress. And ours is to jealously guard the movement so that those who have gotten into the movement to destroy it might not find a space if all of us are focused in the healing and also in protecting the movement going forward. Thank you.
One, two. Mandela, Mandela, Mandela says freedom now. Show us the way to freedom in this land of Africa. Mandela, Mandela, Mandela says freedom now. Amandla awethu yabona ngoku sekhona hip hop ngomandela Mandela i-remix ngoku i-remix hey hayi nayibetha comrades nayibetha and guys, you can look at the ambience here. It's so beautiful. It's white, and don't be mistaken, there was a wedding here last night. So we asked the people that they must leave the deco to encourage all single males and females today to see exactly umtshato unjani na. See, we are encouraged, guys, to be in the mood. No more lockdown now. Ufaten said. Hey, on a serious note now, you know, as I was standing here, I feel the spirit of Mrs. Joyce, Umama Kamtimkulu. I feel her soul because some moments I've interfaced with her and sat and have a discussion with her. It was powerful. She was looking for answers. Maybe I'm one of those few people who were able to hold Mtimkulu's hair, the ones that were left behind. She will take them out and say, where is the rest? Where is my son? Just hold the hair and the tears will start rolling. That's the kind of pain that I feel I'm also bound by it here. It's embedded inside me, you know, to find the answer. Same with the Madaga family. Guy was working, sales rep, providing for the family. See me now, see me no more. Be that as it may, we have to find a way forward. Amakawe, our patriots. Amakawe A2 Foundation are represented by Mzolisi Gyasi. Let's give him a big round of applause. Oils.
ngaphandle. Ngase mphathi uhlelo. Another man is not right now to be here because my leaders are here. I would like to salute family of Los Pio. I would like to salute family of Lord Tobegile Mataga. I'd like to acknowledge Comrade Mondem Tichwa. Mondem Tichwa is one of the people who are founder members of COSAS. And when the COSAS was formed, they were all detained in the country. In Eastern Cape, there was only Mondem Tichwa and Wando Zenzele were detained for the formation of COSAS in 1979 for 8 months. I'd like to acknowledge Comrade Monde Spire, who was with Spiro when he was shot at Jolly Square. Comrade Nolinda Yaze, Comrade Mtazi, Comrade Dai, Mama, our mother, Judy, Father Ferrain. I remember when we had this kind of gathering a year after Spear and Topsy had been abducted and disappeared. In 1983, we had a kind of similar gathering at Spear's place, number 297 Zola Road. Myself and Father Ferrain, Paul Ferrain, went to fetch Tsiki, Topsy's mother. She was an elderly, sweet old lady, blind, and we had the Sheba Magas Pio. You know, Joyce always came to my house with a special branch, and that was for the foreign. COSAS, comrades, ANC leadership, I salute you. Salute Dr. Mondomiso Mopazi of the Raymond Mhlaba Center for Governance and Leadership. We are from Mama Kawetu Foundation, specifically established to make it a point that we are not forgotten. Our heroes and heroines are not forgotten. And their death was never in vain. Most of our comrades lost their last breath during the struggle in the hands of the Boers. We are in the liberation heritage space. Spear was first in the Black Consciousness Movement. Spear was a SASM member. I would be brief. There are lots of speakers here. Was arrested in the late 70s for furthering the aims of the Brent organization, which was the PAC at the time. He was sentenced to 3 years, effectively served 18 months in prison. That's Luke's Matoto, of a poet, people's poet. Spear found us in the middle of 1980 school boycott, or class boycott. Like Pumet Rongweni, after the 18 months he served in prison, he found us busy with that boycott. He assisted us suspend the boycott in 1980, as the boycott was not an end in itself, but a means to an end. Spear's nickname was Congress, because everything to him was about Congress. Everything to him was about the ANC and the Congress. Spear was involved in 1981 anti-republic campaign boycott celebrations. The system was celebrating 20 years since South Africa was declared a republic in 1961. And the ANC had given us a mission to oppose that boycott, to oppose those celebrations. Spear was one of the people who were given a pamphlet from the external mission of the ANC in Lesotho in 1981, entitled Akuyiwa, Awuphathwa, Azikhwelwa. And those pamphlets were distributed in the buses, in the taxis, at schools. All pamphlets were from the ANC. The leadership at the time, students leadership at the time, NUSAS members at Wits University in Johannesburg, at Fort Hare University, bent down the orange, white, and blue apartheid flag and hoisted the black, green, and gold flag of the ANC. That was literally unbanning the ANC in 1981. Tobekile, Dobse Mataka, as a highly disciplined cadre, was given an associate status in the executive meetings of COSAS because he was not a COSAS member. He was in the school, he was working at Old Mutual. He was a shop steward of the General Workers Union of South Africa, GUSA. He frequented Lesotho with Sphiwe. He was an underground operative of the ANC. He was detained with Zola Mtatsi and Wandu Zenzile at Brandfort, at Winnie Mandela's house in Brandfort. He was also a former SASM member. As a Makawetu Foundation, we're commemorating 40 years since Sphiwe and Dobse disappeared. 40 years is a long time, and these families have been sitting with this wound, deep wound. Sphiwe was detained on the 31st of May, 1981, after he had been shot at Enjoli Square. Yama, nalapho tuhleli phaa ekoleni uMonde Spy. They were together with Sphiwe when he was shot at. And Novusi Matekeng. He was subjected to extensive interrogation, suffocation and torture, electric shocks, sleep deprivation, and forced to stand on bricks for hours. Was released on the 20th of October, 1981, 5 months after the detention. Some of the things I would be saying will have been because of the cutting-edge research by Professor Janet Cherry, who's amongst us. A day after his release, Sphiwe, he complained of pain. I was at his house. I remember mega chief, just just a handkerchief on his feet. Like it was kakambo, but it was was lying on his bed. Yagodola, anti trying mega ingubo kwakhe, but yagodola inyawo azibuhlungu uhlale ngengubo enyaweni zakhe. Livingstone Hospital could not diagnose Ndwainayo. They could not diagnose the cause of his illness and was transferred to Groote Hospital. Mama, Guy, Oliver will tell us what happened there. That's not my space. But Dr. Francis Ames diagnosed Sphiwe of having been poisoned with thallium poison, an odorless and tasteless poison, which was not available in South Africa. I not taste the poison, I not mbala, I not a taste poison, because it was used in Great Britain in the 50s. It was not available in South Africa, the poison was pure white, that's why. In 1982, he returned to PE in a wheelchair. And the police claimed that a top-level investigation into the poisoning was being conducted. But azikabikho results of that investigation up to this day. To this day. They said the top level investigation would be conducted, but there are no results to this day. On the 2nd of April, Usphiwe instituted a second claim against him. Kala instituted the first claim for torture, sleep deprivation, and all that stuff. Secondly, he instigated a second claim against the police minister, this time for poisoning. On the 12 days later, it disappeared. On the 14th of April, 12 days later, it disappeared. In April 1990, according to the investigation conducted by Professor Cherry and other people, Dirk Coetzee at the Harams Commission in London said that the poisoning, kidnapping, and murder of Usphiwe was arranged by Brigadier Jan du Preez of the Security Police in Pretoria. Colonel Nick van Rensburg of Port Elizabeth Special Branch was also involved. Colonel Nick van Rensburg was a short, old man. Nick van Rensburg, I don't know whether he's still alive. A certain Brigadier van den Hoven had had the poison flown to Van Rensburg here in PA, Gqeberha, rather. He took the poison in Pretoria, flew it down to PA, and Van Rensburg had it administered on Usphiwe. I remember that day, Usphiwe released on Wanto, no Lama, and they said he ate a hamburger special, something that they liked to the tops. So most definitely it was administered on that thing. Don't know. That was before his release, so that he could go home and die at home. Amnesty applications were received in January 1997 regarding the death of Tim Khulu. That becomes important. When the death of Usphiwe, people are given amnesty. That was Gideon Nieuwoudt. That was Nick van Rensburg. That was Hermanus du Plessis. That was Gert Erasmus. 4 of them were given amnesty for the murder of Usphiwe. Now, my question is, who dispensed the poison? Were they given amnesty for poisoning Usphiwe? And who dispensed that poison in Pretoria? Whereabout did they first get that poison? Where was it kept in Pretoria? Because that poison was never manufactured in South Africa, as I was saying. It was last used in Britain in the 50s to kill rats. I don't know whether or not they were indemnified for poisoning Usphiwe. At the Truth Commission, Nieuwoudt justified the killing of Dobsie Mataka. He said Dobsie was responsible for the fertile ground to initiate the People's War. That the masses were mobilized, politicized, and armed. And that was Dobsie's responsibility. Nieuwoudt went on to say that when Mataka had a role in that structure, in particular because of fertile ground, had been created. The concept of revolutionary action had been created internally. the masses had been indoctrinated. Nieuwhof went on to say that Topsy played a role, and that is the conflict which arose between security police and the liberation movement. Now, I was looking at the modus operandi of these murders. Remember, 1981, the special branch abducted and murdered Sizwe Kondile. Mambeli Soto, they murdered him here. And they went on to say he was a police informer, something like that, you know. And because he refused to sell his comrades out, of Pariklemia, of Vosipikoli, and others, they tortured him extensively. And they said, I quote, they had gone too far in the interrogation and did not want to end up with another Steve Biko. So they burned his body and threw it into a river. Then, secret disappearance about Mobs Kehana. We still don't know where he is. That after Kondile, 81. Then disappearance as pure autopsy, burned their bodies at both Chalmers and Craddock, threw their remains into the Fish River. Then Hashe, Kodolosi, and Galela burned their bodies, threw their remains or their ashes in Nabu. Then the Craddock 4. They did not want to dirty their hands. They did not want another Steve Biko. That's what they said. Go Sizwe Kondile. Same modus operandi. Chairperson, I thank you for listening. I thank you for listening to me.
One of the songs, the Xhosas, that were popular then, Senzenina, 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 Sibonina, Senzenina, Senzenina, Sono zetu ubumnyama, sono zetu ubumnyama, sono zetu ubumnyama, sono zetu ubumnyama. Zinja ayakufa ezizinja amabhulu azizinja ayakufa ezizinja ambulele Okay. All these stories that are related and also subsequent songs are rekindling emotions. Some of us are overwhelmed with emotions because we're not on the moon, we're here. All that was unfolding amongst us and in front of us. Some of them, as uComrade uJasi was relating the stories of Sizwe Kondile, was talking about the modus operandi. Spiro, Topsy, they were banned for 6 hours. Sizwe Kondile was banned for 14 hours. And they were sitting and having a braai, chisanyama, on the sideway and having beer. So painful as it is, it's so important. And the only thing we buried was Pio and autopsy. I think they managed to get identity about through DNA from their bones. But uSizwe Kondile, we buried his soul. There was not even a bone to identify him. And when we buried his soul here at Ascension, Elalini, we had a service. We brought his soul from Ekomati Port, wherever. And then we buried his soul. A very close friend of mine. We were together at university. We played rugby together. He called me Castro. I'll tell you about the story later. I'm a man of surprises. Short people have got surprises already. Napoleon had surprises, Hitler had surprises. All of these funny people had surprises. I'm going to spring surprises. I know these comrades didn't say I must call these people, but people with courage make a democracy. Amongst us, there are courageous people who went through thick and thin with us. Although they knew exactly what was happening, but they didn't understand it. Thus they were with us, amongst us. They were with us. One of those people is now Bishop Viren. Can you stand up, sir? Let the people applaud you. Just stand up, guys. Just stand up. Just applaud this man. Great human being, guys. Great, selfless human being. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bishop. I'll find space and squeeze you also here in my program. Same with Professor Cherry. I'm tempted to call Umatoto whilst both of you are coming here. And Professor Cherry, just to give us the context of the TRC. What was this TRC about? And then ask Bishop, because Bishop Viren stayed here in PE. You heard most 292 Jolie. He did go to the house. It was not in his dream. It's not a pipe dream. He knows exactly. Just for him to say something, the context. Looks, come, just, please, ma'am. Prof, Bishop, can you come and say something? Professor Jerry?
Yes. Thank you.
osikelweyo ndithi mandiyiqhawulele ngoma Butzola, not because andiyithandi kuba ndingakhunjuzwa xa ingaqhubi uba hayi besikusikele kawusuke. I just chose this particular poem because I saw young people. This is a poem I've never recited before. Just wrote it, pasted it on Facebook. But I think it is particularly relevant for young people in this room today. The title of this poem is Battle Scars Run Deep. I come bearing a disclaimer. I carry no sense of entitlement, nor I carry manipulation, nor do I carry manipulation. If you be asking, so what? I will ask conscience to speak to your consciousness. You may be disappointed with this freedom. Please don't condemn those who fought for the freedom. Do not curse the cause of struggle, for we bear battle scars. The battle scars was real and true. Comrade distinguished themselves in the worst of times. Do not let anger and disappointment drive you to extinguish the role of these freedom fighters. I am the still waters of freedom running deep to the battle of Kwito Valley. I am the AK-47 of Andrew Zondo rattling in the heart of memory, causing fear in the bosom of the enemy. I am the blood of martyrs oozing in different skirmishes across Africa, longing to go home by the rivers of Limpopo. We sat down when we remembered those who succumbed to the crunching jaws of crocodiles. They chose bravery just to see a free South Africa. I am the petrol bomb, the stone, the primer stove bomb flying from the hands of Ibuto to any which Casper passing. What you do with the freedom, what you chose as a freedom, does not diminish the role in the cause of freedom. Battle scars runs deep. Some of us, our necks were squeezed by the rope of the hangman, snapping the spine, fist clenched and in defiance, while at the hands of death. Some waited in the hands of torture, for the death sentence was already pronounced. Through our struggle, we saved them. Please, don't so what me. Human vultures here for the picking of my heart and sweat and tears. You are the reason the young ones, and they question my pain of struggle. The greed that you possess, may it choke you for the poor. For the trees of freedom has been stolen, nourished with the blood of Solomon Mahlangwe Mataya, in fruits benefiting the greedy, not the needy. We all yearn for the change, and folded arms and moving lips, battle scars runs deep. We carry the experience of life in exile. These eyes have seen the demise of combatants in the fight for freedom. We are the embodiment of post-traumatic stress. These ears heard the haunting screams of torture in the interrogation room while waiting for my turn, the anxiety and silent panic in an anticipation of pain as they drag you to the seat of torture. Tell the youth these stories so they may know we come a long way. Battle scars runs deep. Some were tossed out of windows from 5th floor, Sandlam building. Search your history, it will show. Who knows their thoughts as they flew in the air to certain death, as broken bones meet the ever-hard concrete floor, scattered on the road were hopes and aspiration of a nation, a family. Lungile Tabalaza, history calls your name out loud. Still, battle scars runs deep. Will you make me a donkey who pull a heavy load and still gets the whip? Bears the scorching label of laziness for a pull which the whipper can never accomplish nor attempt. Easy to criticize and label others as sellouts in the seat of comfort. My ears, no electrocution. in the torture room while my chattering teeth grinds my tongue as I scream for pain, my private part squeezed with a drawer of an old merciless furniture in the interrogation room, bulging eyes, painful groans, humming pain through the night while my body shivers, battle scars runs deep, battle scars. Tell them, Lennox class, our love for freedom and our involvement in the struggle was never fake. For love of our people was real. We never fake our fight for the struggle. The torment of struggle, 52 stairs of no return to the hangman, taunting, pinching, and insults, the way to the cruel jaws, ever open, yet to consume another victim. Our battle scars runs deep. Thank you.
Bishop, the floor is yours. Thank you. Bishop Verheyen, give him a big round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. As you can see, this has taken me by surprise. I came to Port Elizabeth in 1979, straight from university. I had been at university in 1976. Let me just say one thing about university. It was a very good education, but I might as well have been educated on Mars. You understand? 1976 happened, and we were studying theology, we were studying about God, and we were studying about the New Testament and the Old Testament and church history, and nothing about what happened in 1976 when the students had said no to injustice. And people, young people like yourselves, stood up, conscious. So I came to Port Elizabeth in 1979, and Port Elizabeth educated me about our country. You heard the terrible stuff that happened to young people. It was unbelievable. I became the chairman of the Detainees Parents Support Committee for about a year and a half. And that Detainees Parents Support Committee began to open my eyes to what really was happening. There was no freedom of the things that we accept today as just, part of our life. If you don't like something, you speak. If you want to have friends with whoever you wanted to have friends with, you can have friends. They don't look at you and say, this one is connected to this one. We must watch, we must follow, we must snoop. The freedoms that we have today were not the freedoms here in New Brighton. Let me give you one little illustration. We decided that on the 16th of December, we would have a church service here at Arthur Wellington Church. As the Detainees Parents Support Committee, and we got Helen Joseph. Have you heard of that name? Yes. Helen Joseph. She came, she was a main speaker, and it was a service specifically to pray for people in detention. It's part of the work of the church, to be concerned about people who are in trouble. And we were all arrested after the service and taken to the police station. I mean, it was very funny, actually, to think that they could actually silence the church. Think again. But let me tell you that sometimes you can sit in the church and be sitting on Mars. So when you go to the church, listen, do they ever speak about the poor? Do they speak now about 20 million people who go to bed hungry every night? You understand? Because if you are not awake, you can sleep for your whole life. You can be dead even though you're alive. You know what the church is like. It's supposed to be a place of life, but sometimes it can be a place of death. So I was friends with people. You know what? Do you know Saki Matlazoma? You remember him?
Yeah.
I taught him to drive here in KwaZakele. And I moved up to Johannesburg. I'll be very short now. And eventually I opened my house to people who were on the run from the police, from all over the country. From all over the country. And that has continued and still till now. I now live in Soweto. And on Friday, I had a meeting with Operation Dudula, who came and attacked us at the center because there are some Zimbabweans and young people like yourselves living in the center who are on the run from countries in Africa because they're scared. Before I came into this meeting, I was contacted from people from Swaziland because there are children from Swaziland who are in trouble. So this is a very important day, so that we keep on reminding ourselves that the struggle for freedom and dignity is not finished yet. We remind ourselves about the terror. You can't imagine a mother. It's bad enough when a mother has to bury a child. But when a mother has to bury a child under these circumstances, the condition that the Cradock 4, their bodies were found in, let me just say to you, people, that cruelty was barbaric. Those people who did that to those Cradock 4, I don't know what they had in their head. But you mustn't imagine that we can't repeat it again if we don't look and watch carefully. So I come to you in great humility. This is a great honor that you have given to me. I didn't expect my day would go this way. Thank you very much, and may God amandla you.
This is not a movie, guys. This is history. This is reality. We are bringing you the right people, the real people of Mzansi. We have strived through thick and thin, still to date, making sure that we do the right thing. A clever man knows all the roads. A wise man knows just one right road. Bishop Verreyn knew there was only one right road. Be the servant of God the right way. Serve your people. Be humble. Selflessness. Humility. Thank you, sir, again. Give me a big round of applause.